with just my mother.
Okay.
And she wasn't, you know, I wouldn't say my mom was strict. I think she was particular.
Okay.
You know, it didn't matter whether you had money or not. There were certain things you simply did.
Okay.
One of them was, another one of them was, it didn't matter if you went to bed having had sugar on your bread. You walked out of the house the next morning as though you dined like a king.
Okay.
And you carried yourself during the day as though you were an empress, and you didn't complain about anything until you got home.
What did you want to be when you were a little girl?
Oh, let me think. First thing I wanted to be was a physiotherapist.
Okay.
I wanted to work with people. I wanted to make them better. But I must have been, I don't think I'll be able to tell you how old I was, but Doreen Morris made her debut in television.
Okay.
As the first black anchor on television, or person of color.
Yes.
Oh, I must have been 12 or 13 years old.
Yes.
And my mom turned to me and she said, "That's what you're going to be when you grow up."
Okay.
And I remember sitting there and being I wasn't a shy kid, but I was introverted because I had older sisters who were quite mouthy.
Okay.
And thinking, okay, I don't know how that's going to happen, but all right. And I've told Doreen this story over and over the years, and she said, well, it makes complete sense. I was always going to be a social activist.
Yes.
And I thought that's where it was going to end for me. I ended up in the church choir and as a youth minister, and I was always great with people. And then I came to Johannesburg. I was 18 years old. Ended up working for the African National Congress, and then it looked like my direction was pretty much been steered towards politics.
Okay.
And it was actually while I worked for the ANC that life changed for me.
In what way? What
moving
exactly
to
did you do for the ANC though?
I was just a PA.
Okay.
But I soon discovered, I think moving to Johannesburg from Cape Town, that there were that I had qualities that had not yet been exposed.
Okay.
One of the first things that happened is, so this would be the early 90s. One of the first things I discovered was that I actually spoke quite nicely. My mom was always very particular about that.
Okay.
You had to pronounce your words properly. You had to know the correct spelling of things so that you could say them well. And she was just pedantic about the crazy things that I think as a child you just consider to be so anal.
Yes, yes.
Then you grow up and you go, oh my goodness. You know, these things are important. You know, when other colored kids are saying the house is on fire, you were saying the house is on fire because mom insisted that you said it properly.
Yes.
I remember working at the ANC office. It was right around the time of the Boyapatong massacre on the East Rand, and being called down to the floor that the communications and information desk was on within the ANC, and having the then head of information and communication later became a minister in government, Paulo Jordan, saying to me, we just need you to come and sit in this little booth.
Yes.
Just put those earphones on. I didn't know what the booth was. I didn't know why I was putting on the earphones. And just read the script.
Okay.
I said, what's the script? And he said, just read. And there I sat, and I read everything that I was told to read, and then I was told, thank you. You can go back to your desk now.
Okay.
And I took the lift up to the 22nd floor and I went to sit at my desk. And they just kept calling and saying, come and do voiceovers. And eventually I said, what the heck is a voiceover? And they said, well, it's what we put, it's the voice that we run over the visuals that you see
Okay.
on TV. And so before I even thought of going into the entertainment industry, the television industry and so on, I'd already been slowly but surely introduced to it.
Okay.
And that's why I say it was destiny and not a dream. The longer I stayed in the business, the more I realized that by having been given this voice and this profile within television, I was now able to impact lives more fruitfully at the core of society. But it's quite interesting because you look at the young person who is an introvert in her household, who is too shy to speak, who then ends up in an industry where she doesn't just get to speak, but she gets to communicate with millions and millions of people. Now I've had the opportunity to be, as I say, a social activist as well as a media personality in South Africa, and that has led to me being a global communicator, a global activist for social change.